LJN, the Rainbow of Doom. Most people despise the company and their supposedly crappy games, but I actually enjoy them, and that's why I now don the moniker of the LJN Defender! The Defender is back on duty to answer the call of the rainbow. August is here, and that means it's time to continue my tradition of reviewing a Spider-Man game to mark the anniversary of the Marvel Comics icon. The event began with my coverage of the LJN portable ports in 2014, and now it returns to its roots with the return of the Sinister 6. Spider-Man: Return of the Sinister Six was released in October 1992 and developed by Bits. Yes, my arch nemesis strikes back with the Webhead's entry on my favorite console. The story is very simple and summed up perfectly by the title. The treacherous band of villains led by Dr. Octopus is reunited for the purpose of attaining world domination. It's up to Peter Parker's alter ego to crush their aspirations and provide them with a one-way ticket to the local prison. Not surprisingly, Spidey's journey is comprised of 6 levels, one for each member of the ghastly group, and they're introduced via flashy comic cover images. Return of the Sinister Six is a platformer with a format that is typical of the genre. Spidey proceeds for the linear stages, eliminating any foes that stand in his way. Bits' second stab at the franchise addresses a number of the criticisms I had with their debut effort, but their blundering reputation rears its ugly head through the decision to alter the control scheme. In complete opposition to the NES standard, A makes the masked crime fighter punch, and double tapping A produces an aerial kick while B jumps. On top of this, the core mechanics can be problematic to the point where the titular hero would inexplicably walk in the opposite direction that I wanted him to. These programming snafus are mind-boggling, and I would curse the dreaded developer to the depths of hell if they were persistent, but luckily for those bastards at Bits, I rarely encountered them. Plus, they managed to do a better job of implementing the protagonist's signature skills this time around, so I was willing to let them off the hook. For now. It's screwed up. Spidey specializes in close quarters combat, but he can shoot web projectiles at enemies after obtaining the necessary item. I found the punch to be the strongest attack, but the jump kick is great for avoiding damage, which is essential since there are only 4 blocks of health. The life bar can be conserved by running, jumping, swinging, or climbing away from adversaries to stay safe, but this is easier said than done, especially since any health lost in the process can only be regained by defeating the aforementioned baddies. Not only that, but there are just 2 lives total. 2! If you die once, you get to continue. Mess up after that, and it's game over. Expect to die a lot and have to replay the same stages over and over again. Due to this repetition, this license tie-in starts to get old, and the lack of a diverse soundtrack further emphasizes this monotony. Speaking of which, the presentation in general is fairly average. The graphics are cartoony and the characters are distinctively depicted, but they pale in comparison to Bucky O'Hare, Little Samson, and other 1992 NES titles. In contrast, the music from David Whittaker is quite good, and it really only has one issue. There's not enough of it! With the exception of the Sandman theme, the song that plays during the Electro encounter is repeated throughout the rest of the mission. I like that tune, so it honestly didn't bother me, but a little variety would have been nice. Fortunately, I had a bunch of How Did This Get Made episodes loaded up on my audio device to help ease the tediousness. At the beginning of my session, the perilous quest seemed incredibly difficult, but I figured out the best strategies and memorized the level layouts with each passing hour. The perfect example of this is in Mysterio's lair. There's a corridor that requires a special pair of glasses in order to see properly. The glasses are located in the far left side of the section that connects to that corridor, and entering the door for it after collecting the glasses will light the room in a Virtual Boy shade of red. However, if this area is entered without picking up the glasses, the setting becomes pitch black, with the sprites being the sole visible element on the screen. There are a few other puzzle-solving aspects throughout Pete's adventure, but the majority of the action is straightforward. As for the supposedly sinister 6, they're surprisingly tame. Most of them can be manipulated by jumping towards the ceiling or to a higher platform, and it's possible to knock out Mysterio and Doc Ock by crouching in front of them and repeatedly punching them in the junk. No joke. After they're defeated, a single screen ending pops up with Spidey towering over the fallen fiends. It's pretty basic, but the art style is neat, so I guess that's something. As far as licensed tie-ins go, Return of the Sinister Six sits smack dab in the middle of the spectrum. It's certainly a marked improvement from Bits' initial offering, but there are a number of factors holding it back. I remember renting and enjoying this as a kid, so there is nostalgic value for me personally, but I'd only really recommend it to completist NES and Marvel fans. Everyone else would be better off sticking with Maximum Carnage or War of the Gems. For those wanting an extra slice of NES wall-crawling action, there actually was a sequel in the system's library, but it wasn't an official release. Spider-Man 2 is a ROM hack of Ninja Gaiden 3 that apparently dates back to 2004. It's obvious that the creators of this hack weren't American, since the translation of the plot is hilarious. The city is at risk, and only you can save it from the evil Duchess Mysterio. The Master of Illusion is using his power to change New York City into his own park. Luck for the Big Apple, he has forgotten one thing. You are Spider-Man! That is priceless. The webhead excellently fills the role of Ryu Hayabusa, and owing to its source material, this bootleg is one brutal mofo. Fortunately, the difficulty is tempered a bit as it's based on the Famicom version, meaning that there are unlimited continues. It still requires serious skills to successfully traverse the tricky terrain, and I felt accomplished when I reached the final level, something I'd never been able to do with the American carts. Spider-Man 2 is primitive by today's standards, but Packensack Dave made some improvements to the original design, and the updated file is available for free on his site. I'd absolutely suggest checking it out if you're even slightly curious about it. The so bad that they're good cutscenes alone are worth the download. I mean, I have no clue what's going on here, but I know that I love it. Anyway, now that another Spider-Man Month chapter has concluded, I've got an appearance in the IUPG court to prepare for. Be sure to come back for that, but until then, this is Matt, the LJN Defender, signing out. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, click any of the boxes on the screen right now and you'll be able to watch a few more of my videos. And if you haven't already, be sure to click that red box right there in the corner, and that'll subscribe to the channel and you'll be able to keep up to date with all of my current content. Thanks again, everyone.